All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Thursday morning Inner Circle live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. I hope everybody is doing well today. So we're going to dive in. Some quick updates on the fundamental side. Then we'll dive into some charts, look at some of the moves that Benny broke down last night from a short-term perspective, then take a look at some potential opportunities for us coming into the end of the week. All right, so drop me a 1 in the chat. My bad. As always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds, your bodies to engage, as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right, there we go. So drop me 1 or 2. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys can hear me okay. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm back at home to my normal setup. So I'm glad things are working well. All right, real quick from a fundamental perspective, European stocks resumed sell-off. Equity markets in Europe fell back into negative territory on Thursday as the boost from the Bank of England surprise bond buying operation faded, and as worries about global economy, aggressive monetary policy tightening, and Europe's energy standoff with Russia continue to weigh on investors' mood. All right. So the sentiment returns. Okay. We talked about yesterday sentiment around the globe sinking, right? 2-year low in the Eurozone. Another signal there of concern. WTI crude futures fell. The futures were trading around $80 per barrel, pressured by persistent concerns over demand sapping global economic slowdown, while a stronger dollar supercharged the bearish momentum. The U.S. oil benchmark is poised to decline for the 4th straight month while heading into its first quarterly loss in more than 2 years, as markets were worried that aggressive interest rate hikes could hit the global economy and energy demand. Still, an escalating energy standoff between the European Union and Russia threatened to disrupt supply further, right? At the same time, weaker crude prices prompted speculation that OPEC Plus could announce another production cut next week. Official data also showed that the U.S. crude inventories unexpectedly dropped last week for the first decline in a month, right? So it's uncertainty. Okay. So we want to keep our eyes on that. All right. So over to Forex Factory. Today we have GDP coming out of Canada month over month at 8:30. Then we have Governor Orr speaking at 9 a.m. All right. So those are two bigger things. We'll see what Governor Orr has to say. We'll see what that GDP comes out for Canada. Okay. Also have some FOMC members speaking throughout the day, but that's pretty much it. Okay. So it's somewhat of a light day. We haven't looked at this part in a while, but a risk on, risk off perspective, really been looking at that New Zealand yen as more of the indicator, but just took a quick look this morning and the VIXI is starting to creep back up. It had been down in this 13, 12, 13 area for quite some time, and it was just continuing to sink. Now it's slowly starting to tick back up. All right. So the fear index, right? Risk on, risk off is starting to creep back up. That 20 mark is the kind of the mark that we'll look at for full risk on, risk off. Just understanding, looking at this, just understanding that the fear in the market is starting to increase, right? And the uncertainty is continuing to increase there as well. So just keep your eyes peeled there. Okay. Any questions from a fundamental perspective? Nope. All right. So we're going to dive in and take a look at the dollar, take a look to see where oil is sitting. And then we will take a look at some of those setups from last night. So dollar, right? Got a fib on, right? Didn't quite get to the D extension here on the 4. We're getting this pullback now, right? And price was pressing down, gave us a slight tick up yesterday, right? And now we're turning back over, looking to become a little bit more bearish. We're looking for a retest of this all-time high level, right? Or this zone between this weekly resistance and this all-time high level, okay? So still looking for a little bit more bearish momentum coming out of the dollar, right? Give us this nice pullback for another push to the upside, okay? So that's what we're looking for here. That's where the dollar sits. Last night it was pressing to the upside, and now we're getting this turnover that we have been looking for and anticipating, okay? So that's the dollar. Over to oil real quick from a 4-hour perspective. We had our eyes on this 118, 127 zone and this daily D extension, which is this red line here, right? And you see price push right down into it. Beautiful move. Now we're just pressing sideways. Okay. Now we're just pressing sideways. This was that $80 mark. And when that article was written, price was pressing back down. We'll see if we're able to break out of this and push back to the upside, at least getting back to this B boundary zone and this weekly level of $90. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. But this was the zone that we were watching, keeping our eyes on. Okay, so if we're able to break back above the daily level of 81.81, right, and close above it in a relatively strong fashion, right, we could see a little bit more of a boost to the upside here. Okay, so that's ultimately what we're looking for here, right? Still downside potential here, but in the short term, we could see a little bit of a relief. Okay. Yeah, in the short term, we could see a little bit of relief. Okay. So we'll continue to watch that to see what type of action we get and see if we get that movement and that push back to the upside there. Okay. Want to look at that also as we get ready to look at some of the Canadian pairs with the Canada GDP coming out today, right? We could see, right, these kind of might see them move together, right? But that doesn't mean that the Canadian dollar drives oil, but oil more drives the Canadian dollar. So if we see a boost here, understanding that it be it temporary, right? We could also see a boost in the Canadian dollar. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes peeled there. Any questions on oil? Nope. Okay. Okay. So that's that. Now I want to take a look at, was this Aussie yen? Benny broke this one down last night, getting down to the 15-minute time frame, right? So we came back to this 93.053 level, right? Strong bullish move on Wednesday. And then last night, we're looking for a retracement so that we can then get this continuation, okay? So as we move down through the time frames, we run our fibs off the high here, right? And we have this nice push to the downside, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. And we got price to really take off to the upside and break back above this daily level, right? So last night, we're looking for this retracement to come back, retest that daily level, previous resistance level there, right? And we got that. We got this nice push to the downside here, okay? So now we're looking for this head and shoulders type action here. Okay. Like so. Okay, we'll see it better on the 1 hour time frame, but that's the action that we're looking at for potential move back to the upside to give us this deep retracement here on this 4 hour time frame, potentially get back to this 96, 165 level. Okay. So that's what we're looking for here on this Aussie yen. But 80-20 scenario, right? 118 and 127 zone, we got the flip, we got a pullback, retesting that level. And as long as that level holds, we'll continue to look for that move back to the upside. So as we get down to the one, this is what that looks like on the one, okay? Smaller frame. Here on the one, it's more of a crown pattern, right? More of a king's crown pattern. Here. Just barely took out that high, right? Looking for that move there. Okay. So, but that's the look. We're looking for this move back down. We got a 50% retracement off of this harmonic fib to the upside, right? Just shy of it, in line with that daily support level and in line with the cloud here, retesting the cloud. And then we got this push. Okay. So we get down to the 15. This is the move Benny broke down last night, right? Ran the fibs off this high, this push to the downside, right? And we're looking for, because we had this nice retracement here, right? And we're looking for this move to finish out at the D extension, which you see that occurred, right? 618 retracement. Then we got this push to the downside. You finish this. There we go. Finish that fib out, right? That D extension there, 58 pips. Ended up pushing a total of 70 pips to the downside, right? So the short-term moves that we can find as these impulsive moves occur that we may miss, right? We can take advantage of these shorter-term moves, same methodology, same process, right? So 70 pip move to the downside, and then we got price to turn over and press back to the upside, okay? So this was my entry here last night, right? And it was a nice 40, 50 pip move to the downside. And then look at price moving back to the upside there. Okay. We got a hand. Jerry, good morning. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Just a quick question.
Yeah.
What is the difference, or when do you know to use the crown versus the head and shoulder? Because it all looks like head and shoulders to me. That's all I've ever known.
So one of the things to remember is, are your shoulders lopsided?
Oh, all of them are lopsided, pretty much.
No, I mean your physical shoulders, are they lopsided?
Oh, mine. No.
Okay, so your head and shoulders patterns won't be either, right? So the key for these king's crown patterns,
okay,
right, is you get so you have this move here, right? And then you break your trend line and you push to the downside. And then on this move back up, this right side, it takes out the previous high, right? So in this scenario, right, it's inverted. So it takes out the previous high, right? And it pushes up. And then it comes back down, right? For C your right tip, back down, and then up. So the difference is people say it's a lopsided head and shoulders pattern. No, it's not. It's not. It's not how it was designed for a harmonic pattern, right? So your king's crowns pattern, you will take out that previous high or low here, right? As opposed to your head and shoulders pattern, it would be even, right? So your head and shoulders pattern, right? It would be even.
Oh, I see that now.
Right.
Okay.
It'd be even. So here you see it's off.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So that's the difference.
Oh, thank you very much.
Straight across, right? And then you get your move to finish like that. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's the difference, right? Now I'll see if I can find some bearish patterns on that too, looking at just the regular way, and I'll show those as well. But yeah, that is the difference, and it gives you a difference on your take profit levels as well. So because on these King's Crown patterns, right, what you'll see is you won't necessarily get your break of the neckline and retest, right? That doesn't necessarily happen all the time. So on those head and shoulders pattern, you'll get a break, and until you look for that retest of the neckline, right? And that retest of the neckline for potential entry opportunity, right? And so on these patterns here, when this pushes to the upside, and they say look for that move back down, it doesn't match up, and a lot of people get stopped out because that move doesn't actually occur. Right. So this on the King's Crown pattern, you look for that right tip formation, right? And this is your entry here to the upside. Okay. So there's a difference in the way the pattern looks and the way it moves. You don't necessarily get that retest of the neckline and then that continuation. A lot of times here, you'll just get a strong move back to the upside and it'll continue going. Appreciate that question. Any other questions? Nope. All right. So on this move, right? So we got this nice retracement that occurred, got us back to this retest in the cloud, right? And this is what we were looking for, right? Yesterday morning is this retest, this pullback. So now we're looking for this continuation to the upside, right? Matching the extension here at 95,163. Okay. So looking for price to push to the upside there. Nice risk to reward opportunity depending on where you place your stop. But you can place your stop below this C, right? A, B, C, right? You got to swing low to form there. If you want a tighter stop loss, you can place it there just below this daily level, or you can place it below the cloud, right? Or if you wanted to give yourself more room, you could place it below the A as well, right? No, understand that the matching D extension is here. You want to make sure that your risk to reward is intact, okay? So that's the Aussie yen. It's one of the moves being broke down last night. I'm looking for this now to continue moving to the upside here in that retracement fashion. Okay. Aussie dollar. Also want to look at this Aussie. Take a look at it and see. Aussie dollar, same thing, right? Here's a clear example, Jerry, right? You see how this high is not right in line with that one, right? They got this here. See how it clearly took out that previous high, and then it came back in line with that left tip, and now you got to move like that.
Yes, I see. That's clear. Yeah.
Right. So that's what you're looking for, right? So a lot of times you'll see, and this could be a key support or resistance level, right? You'll see that level get broken, and then you'll see that swing higher, swing low form. And you'll hear me call it out a lot, right? We could be in for a crown pattern if we get price to come back to this support level and hold, or back to this resistance level and hold. But that's what I'm looking for, is that low to be taken out, this type of action. And then I'll look for that retracement, and then look to buy it or sell it, depending on the direction of it. But that's a clear example there. Okay. So this is what we're looking for here, right? And last night we're looking at that retracement to happen. Bang, it did, right? Gave us that nice clean move on the 15-minute time frame, right down to that 618 retracement level, and then we got the push. Okay, then we got the push. So now we're on the move back to the upside. Okay, now we're on the move back to the upside. So matching the extension, if looking at this off the 15-minute time frame, is here at 66026. Okay, but beautiful setup here, right? Benny broke down last night, giving us that deep retracement back into our zone. Okay, so now we're looking for this to come at least to this level. If you're looking at from a shorter term perspective, off of the 1 hour or the 4 hour, right? On the one, your A is going to get taken out, right? Your A is going to get taken out and you're going to get this deeper push to the upside, okay? So you can run your fib from here, like so, okay? But on the 4 is where I'm tracking this one, right? On the 4 is where I'm tracking this one. We missed our D extension, okay? Shallow retracement, push down, push past that 118, 127 zone, right? And we got that swing low to form. So this is where I'm tracking this move. We got that nice retracement off of the bullish move, retracement. Now I'm looking for this continuation for a deeper retracement, at least back to this weekly resistance level, but I'd love for it to come back to 50% 618 retracement level. Okay. So 80-20 scenario here. Definitely keep your eyes on this, right? And if this meets your rules and your criteria, if you trade these counter trend moves, right, these retracements, it's opportunity for you, sitting right in the zone. And then once we get a high price, we'll reassess, take a look to see where things are. Okay, so that's the Aussie dollar. Any questions here? Okay, cool deal. It's Aussie Swiss. So on this Aussie Swiss, 1 second before we go. Where you ran your fib on oil? Gotcha. Yep, I'll bounce back to it real quick, Reese. On oil. My bad. Here. So on oil, I ran it off the high here. Right. So you had this move back to the upside, got your deep retracement, and then it came down. So this is your new AB boundary, and that's your 80-20 scenario there. And if you bounce back to the daily time frame, you also see what is that line? I thought that was a D extension on the daily, but shallow retracement of 118, 127 on the daily as well. Okay, and that's running that fib off the high here. Okay. Go to the one. Is it D extension on the one? Let me see. Find out what that red line is. I thought it was the daily D extension, but could be wrong. Well, I am wrong. D extension on the 1 hour. That's what this red line is. D extension on the 1 hour. This zone is your 118 and 127 zone on the daily and on the 4 hour. Right. So it came right into that zone. Didn't quite get to the D extension off the one. All right. So you got 80-20 on the 4 and on the daily. Okay. There you go. All right. So this Aussie Swiss I'm watching. Couple things. So on the daily time frame, we pushed down. Yeah, we broke this level, this monthly level, right? Been trying to break back above, but we haven't been able to, but we got a D extension off the daily time frame. Okay. So we got a D extension off of the daily time frame, right? So as we drop down through the time frames, we get to the 4 hour, we're sitting right in this 118, 127 zone. Okay. Sitting in this 118, 127 zone off of the shallow retracement. And we're starting to push sideways. Okay. Starting to push sideways. So I'm watching this one to see if we're able to get price to turn back over and break back above this monthly level, right? And start to give us a retracement here. Okay. Nothing fundamentally has changed with the Swissy, but I'm watching this because it's in the key zone and we're getting some hesitation. Thought we would have been getting that move there off that strong bullish move. The price came right back. right? So I'm looking to see if we get price to turnover. It's stalling out right here in that zone. Okay, so that caught my eye today. If we come down to the 1, this is what this looks like, right? We got a 382, but price is just hovering in this B boundary zone, right? So if we get something like a double bottom look here, right? Price pushes back down to that B boundary. And if we get a swing low, push back up, and if we're able to break back above that level, right? I'll be looking for buying opportunities on this to give us a move back to the upside, tracking it off the 4. Okay. So you got your 382 come in line here. Let's change this to that. All right. And then your 61.8 here. We'll drop these down. Okay. You can also copy your fib if you wanted to do it that way. Copy the fib, take it down to a lower time frame. So, okay. So now we're looking at it from this perspective. Take those out. And we're looking at this move like this. Okay. So we got that 382 right here. This is our 4-hour fib that we brought down. Take that off. Okay. Looking at that potential move to the upside. Right. 382 there and 618 there. So if we get this move back up, that's what I'm looking for here. So I just want us to keep our eyes on this one as we continue to move through our day today. Okay. Keep your eyes on that. Cool. Sweet. Any questions on this Aussie Swiss? No. Miss Carolyn, what are you seeing on the Euro USD?
It looks like it's about to go into a sell.
What gives you that indication?
Because my trend lines that I see it broke down to the bottom and then it's pushing back a bullish candle going up, and I see it's wicking out on the trend line.
What does your top-down analysis tell you?
Overall, it's a downtrend.
Okay. Are we in a down retracement zone? Have we gotten a 382 off of the 4-hour time frame?
Oh, I haven't gotten that advance of that type of knowledge.
Okay, cool deal. No, good questions, right? So this is where we are, right? So also you got to remember too, right? We'll go back to the DXY, the dollar index, right? And we're still looking at a retracement to occur here on the dollar. Nope, that's the dollar CAD, my bad. Dollar index, right? And we're still looking for this retracement to occur, right? So we're still in this up retracement zone on the DXY, okay? So you want to make that correlation as well. Is the dollar retracing, right? Or is the dollar extending, right? And pushing higher, right? Now the dollar is coming back down to the downside, okay? So when you come over to look at that Euro USD, on the daily time frame, yes, you got a 382 here, right? And price pressed down. Haven't gotten to the D extension yet, but our question is, are we going to continue to retrace, right? So is that dollar index also going to continue to retrace? Because that's going to be the leading indicator here to tell us if we're going to continue to move back to the upside or not, right? It's what that dollar is doing. So as we get to the 4, on the 4-hour, right? We haven't gotten that 382 yet. We had this nice bullish candle that occurred yesterday. We got a retracement, right? And just like the other dollar pairs that we looked at, right? The Aussie dollar, we had a retracement, and now we're looking to continue this pushback to the upside. Okay, so we're looking for a deeper retracement here on this 4-hour time frame because the dollar is also likely to continue to retrace, at least in the short term. Okay, so looking for this to continue to move back to the upside. So we're in a down retracement zone. Okay, so we're looking for a high price here on the 4 to then give us an opportunity to get back short. Okay, if you come down to the 1 on the 1-hour, right, your fib here is likely to get taken out. Okay, likely get taken out. You got a deep retracement here. You got a pullback. Now we're looking at this continuation to the upside. Okay. Now we're looking at this move here. That fib is off. So we'll run it like this. We're looking at this move to the upside on the euro dollar. So we're looking for a high price somewhere around this weekly resistance level or this 98,776 level, right? So we got some more upward movement to go, in my opinion, before we start to get short. Does that make sense? I know you're still going through the training, but yeah. But good eye, right? This was the retracement that happened, right? Now we're in this move back to the upside overall in this down retracement zone, right? Down, right? The trend is down and we're looking at this retracement to occur, right? So down retracement zone to then get a high price to then sell back to the downside. Bradley, good morning, sir. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Ryan.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Thanks for asking.
Hey, I threw my hand up earlier, just kind of regarding the Aussies. You don't have to go back to the chart, but between the Aussie and the US, what fundamentally is going on that's pushing the Aussie stronger at the moment? Or is it the US
I think it's more of
off?
I think it's more of a profit taking that's occurring. And Benny broke down the bond yields yesterday. The bond yields are coming down, which will cause the dollar to pull back. That's all. I think it's just more profit taking that's happening. And then once we get that retracement off of the DXY, I would definitely foresee that continuing its move to the downside.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not anything from an Aussie strength perspective, but more of a profit taking opportunity off of a really, really low price. We'll get some retracements and then we'll look for these sell-offs to continue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because the dollar's still
right.
strong, right? Nothing has changed fundamentally with the dollar. You had the market responded yesterday to the Bank of England coming in and intervening, right, and buying a ton of aged bonds. And the market initially responded to that, and that was a catalyst for a retracement to occur. But it was a low price or a high price on the dollar, and it's just retracements that are happening. That's all. Just more of a profit taking than anything else.
Okay. Can we foresee that coming?
The way we foresee it, the way we look at it, is utilizing these fibs, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
When you get extremely high prices or when you break key levels, like we broke this all-time high on the DXY,
yeah.
Right? You look for retracements to occur at some point, right? And that's just that wave sequence playing out as we teach it, right? The price is going to push up and it's going to pull back. It's not always going to continue raging to the upside. So understanding that, right? See here, you got your AB boundary here. Very little retracement at all. We got into that 118, 127 zone, broke that all-time high, and now we're pulling back. Right?
Okay.
So it's just the wave sequence playing out, right? When you get those high prices, those strong impulsive moves, right? You get retracements that occur. And with this being an all-time high, and we broke through that, best bet we're going to come back and at least retest that level. Could break back below it temporarily before we get that continuation to the upside.
Okay.
Right. So when you get price that's exhausted, right, and price just continues to move to the upside, at some point you're going to get a retracement. That's where the fibs come into play, especially as you get into new levels like we are on some of these pairs. That's where the fibs come into play, right? And they give you those high probability U-turn areas because price is going to retrace at some point, right? And a lot of times you'll see these scenarios, right? Shallow retracements, 118 to 127 zones at key levels that give us those retracements.
And I guess this in combination with what happened with the Bank of England, right?
Yeah. And that was the fundamental catalyst that caused the retracement, right? And it just came in line with some key technical levels that we look at quite often.
Okay, cool. No, thanks for the breakdown.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good question.
All right.
And so what you'll see too is, and what we're finding, this is the ongoing conversation, right? What comes first, the technical level or the fundamental occurrence? But we know no technical level will ever stand in the way of a fundamental occurrence. But what we see a lot of times, and we can go look at some of these pound pairs to really, really highlight this. Like this pound yen, for instance, right? What you'll see is you'll start to get price to stall out. Actually, no. You'll get price to start to stall out at some key levels, right? Or to give you a new level, and then you'll get price just to start moving sideways, right? And you see here price was retraced, just kind of moving sideways at all-time low levels. And then we got this boost to the upside. So when you see price starting to stall out at key zones, right? Or if it's overextended and starts to push sideways, then you say, okay, let me take a look to see what's happening. And that's what occurred on a lot of these scenarios where we got these strong reactions, as we had price getting to some very, very, very key levels and stalling out. Like this strong move to the downside is where the Bank of England really started looking at things. We had price pushed to the side here, and then we got a reaction. So that's what we're really looking at. And we've been talking about for a while, hiring somebody to do a historical analysis on the date and time that fundamental occurrences happen, and the key levels that we look at, the daily, weekly, and monthly, to see what that percentage is of when price gets to these levels, when we get these strong fundamental occurrences. Because it's very, very intriguing that once price gets to these daily levels, in conjunction with a key fib level, that we get these strong reactions like we do here, right? So that's what we look at. And that's another reason we have people ask, why do you only go down to the daily time frame? This is another reason why, right? We get strong reactions at those levels. And from what we've seen over the past 3 or 4 years, as we've been really, really digging into this methodology, that we get strong reactions and fundamental occurrences coincidentally that happen in those zones and at those key daily, weekly, and monthly levels. So little backstory. But yeah, so that's that. Let's look at this. I want to take a look at this CAD Swiss also. So this CAD Swiss, okay. Key daily level here, right? We've struggled at it in the past, right? Strong reaction here, move back to the upside. We had another strong reaction here, right? And we're coming back and retesting that zone, okay? So this is the fourth time at this level, and we want to see what's happening. Overall, from a daily time frame perspective, we haven't been able to get to that D extension just yet. We came just shy, and then we made this move back to the downside. So as we go down to the 4, right? On the 4, we got a 382 and we got the strong bullish push. And then we got this retracement that occurred, right? Didn't break back below the B boundary. We haven't been able to break back below the B boundary, but now we're stalling and we're pressing sideways. Okay. Stalling and pressing sideways. So and this is another one that I'm watching, just kind of like that Aussie Swiss, is to see if we get price to turn back over and press back to the upside. Okay. And give us a deeper retracement here on the 4. So as we get down to the 1, we look at this, right? And this is our fib on the 1. Nice AB boundary, and we got this long drawn out retracement here, but we're stalling out at this 8-6 retracement level, right? In line with this weekly support resistance zone. Okay. So I'm watching this one closely, right? I took a small entry on it because the risk to reward on this one is in my favor and it's in my sweet spot, right? But nice deep retracement. Stop loss is 40 pips. Potential take profit level is 195. Okay, so the risk to reward is there, right? Just looking for price to move back to the upside. And as price moves in my favor, I'll continue to add to my trade till we get there. But ultimately looking for potentially deeper retracement on the 4-hour time frame if we're able to start breaking above some of these levels. Okay. So this one, definitely watch to see if we're able to get price to turn over and stay above this daily support level at 71,090. Okay, so that one's in the sweet spot. I'm looking for this one to make this ride to the upside there. Okay. We got CAD news coming out at 8:30, so we'll see how that impacts the market to see if there's a catalyst there that'll push this in one direction or the other. Okay. Any questions on this CAD Swiss? Hey, have a great day, Bradley. You're welcome, man. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh, doing great. Busy already this morning.
I believe it, bro.
Got presentations all this morning and all this afternoon. It was a crazy day. So,
oh man. Well, good luck, bro. I know
appreciate
you got
it. Thank you.
You're welcome, Reese. I know you're probably driving at the office. Maybe you got any thoughts on anything technically today? I know we went over a lot. Went through some of those the retracements that happened last night that you broke down. Any other thoughts as you're moving through your morning?
No, man. Just nothing beyond last night. Looking at those corrections, continue to follow those, and just know, hey, we're coming to the end of the month.
Yeah.
You know, corporate books closing out, repatriation in the quarter, things like that. So that's it.
Yeah,
that's
it.
You know,
sweet.
Letting the market flow, man.
Letting it flow, man. Letting it flow. I just broke down this CAD Swiss, looking for this move to the upside. Got a nice deep retracement here.
I see.
Yeah, so good risk to reward set up there if we're able to get price to turn over to the upside. Yeah,
I like it.
Cool deal. Mary, can we take a look at the Aussie NZD? Yeah. This one is interesting, man. This one is interesting. So this Aussie NZD, we've been looking at it for a while, right? So let's go back to the monthly time frame here. We're at the top of this range, right? Overall, this thing's just been playing in this range for quite some time, right? Tried to break above that monthly level, wasn't able to do it. Okay, wasn't able to do it. So now the question is, do we turn over and press back down and make our way back to the bottom of that range? Okay, so we move down to the weekly time frame, and we see from a weekly time frame perspective, not only did we get to the top of the range, but we also hit the weekly de-extension. Okay, and you see this move pressing down now, right? Pressing down. So it'll be interesting to see, do we end the month with this nice pin bar here, right? Do we end the month like that? And then do we get turnover and press back down to the downside? We shall see. Okay, that's from a weekly time frame perspective. So as we get to the daily, this was that push to the upside, got us to the de-extension and got to that monthly level. Weren't able to stay above. We closed above, but came right back down, right? And it's that strong, that long wick you saw. That's that strong reaction there down to the downside. And now we got some indecision. Okay, so we don't have a swing high on the daily just yet. Okay, but based on this reaction, my eyes are on this too, Mary, right? Once we get the swing high at the close of tomorrow, if it's lower, right, that's a new form of resistance. We close back below strongly, back below this monthly level. So we could be in for a move back to the downside, right? Potentially making its way to the bottom of that range. Okay, so as we get to the 4, this is what we have. We're sitting at a 382 right now off the retracement, AB boundary. Okay, check these out. Markings. All right, sitting at a 382. So, and we're just moving sideways, right? So we could finish out moving sideways through the day today. And then we'll see if we're able to stay below this monthly level. Okay, could potentially see another push up to retest that, right? We'll see. But if we stay below this monthly level, be it a pullback like so, or if we just turn over and press down, this next level here at 113,466. We'll have to keep our eyes on to see if we're able to break back below those levels as well. Okay, but my eyes are on this too because we're at the top of the range. We had some key D extensions on the daily and weekly time frame, looking for this to potentially move to the downside, right? So here on the one, we got a 50% retracement, right? Got a 50% retracement, price pressed down, and now we're just hovering. Okay, so you can watch this here on the 1 hour time frame to see, all right, what occurs here. Okay, what occurs could potentially, if we do get a pushback up to this level, could potentially get some crown action. All right, took out that low, get a pullback, something like that, retest that cloud and retest that level. This would be a shallow crown, right? And then it'd be a push to the downside like so. If that occurs, right? You gotta work to do to get back up there. But if that occurs, if not, like I said, we could see this thing just continue to turn over and press down at some point throughout the next couple of days or into the beginning of October. So we'll watch this to see. But my eyes are on it as well, Barry. But you're bullish. What are your thoughts on the bullish bias? Talk to me.
Sorry, I have a very long-term fix on the 1 hour. From
You fib running to the upside off the one right here?
yeah, that's from around the 16th of September.
Say that again.
There's a fib I had running from around the 16th of September.
16th of September.
On the one.
So you started it here?
Sorry, I have to look at yours on my
That's okay. Yep. So Friday, that's this fib here. We hit that D extension there, and now we're making our way back down.
Yeah, so I haven't done anything with it, but I had a trend line on it to see if it was going to break the trend line and go back up.
Gotcha. Let's see.
Yeah. So I was just a bit confused because it's just been sitting there for a while. So
yeah,
I wanted
it definitely has.
Yeah.
Definitely has. Yeah, my bias is bearish because we're at the top of that range.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. Let's see. I'll stay on there. There we go. There. That there. Let's see. I have to draw the rest of these manually. Let's see. Yep. All right. There. Oops. There. Let's see. So this would come here. So you got your break, your trend line there. So we broke and retested the trend line right here. Take this cloud off. Okay. So we got to break that trend line. Not a super aggressive one, right? But we got to break to the downside. So now it's a question of, after we stall out for a little bit, do we press back up, right, to push higher here? And does this fib stay intact, or do we start to continue to make lower highs and lower lows, take out that A and continue moving down? So this weekly and monthly level are going to be key, right? If we break below that, I think that A gets taken out, right? If we stay above it, then we could potentially see that, but we have to break back above this monthly level as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Interesting to see. I like it. I like your thought process. Right? So we'll see what happens as price stalls out here. Okay. Good questions. Good analysis too, right? Good analysis. Questions on this one? No. All right. And then I wanted to look at Swiss yen. Still making this retracement move back to the upside, which I love to see. Benny broke us down last night, and we're looking at it to see, right, do those yens continue to take a back seat, and does this push higher, right, above this all-time high and continue pushing? Okay, we got a 50% retracement off that fib. Do we push higher and move to the next all-time high, right? Or does the yen kind of hold up a little bit in some of these scenarios? Maybe not all of them, but some of these scenarios, retest some of these higher prices and turn back over, right? So we're getting a retracement right now. We'll see what happens as we push up a little bit further here. Okay, so it's dropped down through the time frames on your 4. You got a 382, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127. Got that stall that pressed sideways, had that fundamental occurrence that happened where Bank of Japan intervened. Now we're getting this retracement to occur. Okay, my bias on this one is short. We're at all-time high levels, and in this particular scenario, it's hard for me to look past this strong bearish move unless we get some strong momentum to the upside. I'm looking for this to start making its way back down after a push a little bit higher. Okay. We got some consolidation here off that breakout to the downside. So we'll see if this zone, this green box that I have in play here, we'll see if this zone holds up and see if we get price to turn back over. We drop down to the 1 and you see here on the sub fib, we got a couple things, right? Benny broke this down last night as well. You got your capital fib here running off the high. Okay. Take the cloud off for a second. You got your capital fib running off the high. Okay. You got your 618 retracement level here, 786 level here. Okay. In this retracement zone. So now looking for some confluence for me on my bearish bias, right? On my bearish bias. So fib running to the downside. We got this retracement that's occurring. Okay. Run a sub fib to the upside. We got a shallow retracement. We didn't get to that 382. Came just a pip or so short, right? So what I'm looking for is 80-20 scenario, shallow retracement, price to push into this 118, 127 zone, right? Even if it pushes to this 618 level, still within that 80 boundary, okay? And still within this zone that I'm watching and coming back to retest this consolidation that we had, right? So what I'm looking for on this one is a continued push to the upside, potential stall in this 118, 127 zone, and then see if we get price to turn over and start making its way back to the downside. Okay. And from a higher time frame perspective, this is what that would look like there. Okay. If we go back to the weekly time frame, this is another thing too. It's intriguing me to see how this moves, because this was the all-time high and we broke above it, right? We've been just running for a long time, right? Very shallow retracements on this move to the upside because the yen has just been that soft, right? So I'm intrigued to see, right, how this plays out from a higher time frame perspective now, right? Because we got a shallow retracement just like we have in the past, right? So that shallow retracement doesn't necessarily bode well because it's been yen weakness, right, from a monetary policy perspective. So I want to see, does this zone hold, right? This 118 and 127 on the weekly. Does this zone hold? And then do we break back below this monthly level, right? That's what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm keeping my eyes on to see if we get this movement back to the downside. Okay. So that's kind of the overall on why my bias is bearish on this. And with this daily candle and this pullback that hasn't been super impulsive, right? For me, that kind of gives me more indication that we could turn over and continue pressing to the downside to get a nice deeper retracement here. Okay. Now on the monthly, right, we haven't reached a D extension yet, right? We got a long way to go for that, but this was a strong move to the upside with very little retracement. Okay. So on this one, I'm still waiting for price to push a little higher, right? Push a little higher in the zone and then we'll look to see if we get some confirmation. And this is where I'm going to really hone in on this cloud, right? As price pushes higher, right? And we get some consolidation. If we do in the zone, right? Do I get the confirmations from the cloud as a break back down to the downside? As an entry opportunity there. Okay. So that's the Swiss yen, looking for this action here. Push up and then see if we get retracement to start. Questions on the Swiss yen?
No, sir.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Benny, you said you didn't have anything, just waiting and being patient. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? No. Here's another one to keep your eyes on, good people. This Euro Swissy, right? We're sitting in this 118 to 127 zone off the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we're sitting at a B boundary, trying to press back to the upside. This daily level is going to be key for us. Okay. On the 1, it's trying to make its way. We already got a 50% retracement here, right? But are we able to break back above this cloud with all of our confirmations and above this daily level, right? You see here on this previous move, we never broke back above the cloud with all of our confirmations, lagging span, TK crossover, and that Kumo twist. We never got all of them at the same time. So on this one, I'm watching this to see if we break back above that level, and if we get all the confirmations from a cloud perspective, right? Haven't gotten that twist just yet. It's coming close. We'll see. We got a TK crossover here. Okay, so if we're able to break back above, I'm going to monitor this one off of the 4-hour time frame, right? But my entry is going to come off of that 1 hour, right? And look for a deeper retracement to occur, potentially just back to this 96,448 level. Okay, so that's another thing to keep your eyes on, keep on your radar. Okay. Questions, comments, thoughts? No? Ben, you got anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Hey, be patient. Again, end of the month end, right? Companies closing out books, just at least starting to, right? It's the 29th. So I look forward to seeing everybody tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, sir. All right, good people. We'll catch you guys tonight. One brother, Mr. Benny Allen. All right. Have an awesome Thursday. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Thank you.